Hey Jill, we have a quorum and Lauren is logging on now. So if you want to go ahead and get started, I can call the roll and we can go over meeting protocols, whatever you want to do. If you want to get started or if you want to wait. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, girls. Alright, let's while we wait for the member to log on, let's call the meeting to order. The time is 12:35 and it is October 11th, 2024, and this meeting of the membership committee is now in session. Ebony, can you call the roll?
Yes, I can. Miss Angela Harmon,
Here.
Miss Christy Gonzalez, Miss Brooke Stewart. I can see
Here.
you. Okay. Thank you,
Sorry.
Brooke. That's okay. Miss Lauren Womack. I know that she is attempting to sign on now, but you do have three and you have a quorum.
Okay, great.
Oh, Miss Jill Hano, I forgot to call your name. I'm sorry.
I'm here.
Great.
Okay. So, okay, thank you, Ebony. So, rolling right on to the agenda is the review of the membership and requirements. I know we have some requirements of RDD for membership, and Ebony probably has some stats on that, what we have and what we need. So, Ebony, can you go over our membership requirements, please?
Hey, yeah, Jill, actually, before I do that, Miss Brenda Kosei has her hand raised. I don't know if you want to take her comment now or if you want.
Okay. Miss Brenda, you have the floor while Lauren's logging on. As they are trying to connect.
Mhm.
That's her.
Yeah, that may be her. Hey, Miss Brenda, can you hear us? Can you talk?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
I see your hand is raised. Do you have a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. It has a red line through it. That
Okay.
means red. Let me lower it then. Okay, there we go.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. So I'd say that Lauren is joined on. Okay, so Ebony, you're up with the council membership requirements.
Okay, so there are requirements based off the state's demographics. And so I have pulled up a document that I shared It is online, but I also sent it to the committee of the Louisiana State Demographics. According to the US Census Bureau, there are 32.6% African American or Blacks, 7.3% Hispanics, 1.9% Asian, 62.6% white or Caucasian. And then if you look at sex in Louisiana, 51% of our population is female, 49% is male. So our council demographics should mimic the state demographics. And so for the council, there are 17 community members. Right now, with the members that were not Senate confirmed and the 2 members that you all are going to replace, you only have 12 members currently. So I wanted to give you demographics on those 12 members. Right now, the percent of African Americans are Black members is 33.3. The percent for Hispanic is 8.3%. Asian is 0, and white and Caucasian is 58.3. So basically right now, y'all's current membership is mimicking the state demographics. So whenever we're looking at members or applicants, I would make sure that you guys keep the racial demographics pretty similar to what you have right now with those 12 members, because you're on target as far as race. Now, whenever we look at sex, for the current membership, based on those 12 members, we have 75% female, 25% male. So what does that tell you guys? You need some more males, because we're not near that 49% that would match the state demographics for sex. Does anybody have any questions about those demographics? Because if not, we can move down to like location and area. I don't know, Lauren, can you hear us, Lauren? Her screen is.
I'm having difficulty. I'm gonna sign on to a different computer.
Okay.
So we need 49% males, and we have 25.
Yes, that's what the council's current percentage is for males on the council is at 25%. You have any other questions, Jill, or anyone else on the committee? Or anybody else? I don't know if Miss Brenda still has her hand raised, so I'm not sure if she wants to talk, but we can, if you are allowing her to talk, Jill, she has her hand raised.
Okay, Miss Brenda, you have the floor.
Oh, good afternoon. When you say mimicking the state demographics, that means it doesn't have to be the exact percentage, but certain deviations?
Yeah, I would say that we should come as close as possible, Ms. Brenda, as close as possible as we can to the state demographics. That's what the feds are looking for, is that we at least attempted to come close to what the Census Bureau says for Louisiana, that the council comes as close as possible to those percentages. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if there aren't any other questions about race or sex, we're gonna move down to the second portion that you guys have to take into consideration when you're considering new members, which is location and area. So according to federal guidelines, you all have to consider members that are in the North region, South region, East, West, and Central regions of the state. And then you also have to make sure you're taking into consideration rural versus urban. So according to the 12 community members that we have right now, you all have 2 members in the Southeast region. And when I say Southeast, that's New Orleans, Houma, Thibodaux, Covington, and Mandeville, and like those surrounding areas. You have 8 members in the South Central region. That's Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and those surrounding areas. Southwest region, you only have 1 member in that Southwest region. That's the Lake Charles region. You have 0 members in Central Louisiana. That's the Alexandria, Natchitoches, Marksville, and all of those surrounding areas. You have 0 members in the Northeast region, which is Monroe, Rayville, Tallulah, and those surrounding areas. And then 1 member in the Northwest region currently. And that region is Shreveport, Mansfield, and those surrounding areas. So what does that tell us? We need to make sure that we're looking at applicants from the Central Louisiana region, like the Alexandria, Natchitoches, Marksville area. And we need to make sure we're looking at applicants who are from the Northeast region, the Monroe area. We don't have any members in those areas currently. Which would also, I would say that the Central Louisiana region would also help us to have members that are in rural areas, because we know that Central Louisiana is mostly rural. Does anybody have any questions about that? So that kind of takes care of your current membership. So I'm going to go to the table that's at the top of this document, and we'll talk about the seats that you're going to be filling today. So for Ms. Rosalind Heimel, her term ended March of 2022. However, we have had a very difficult time filling that seat. We had someone that could potentially fill the seat. It was a parent. Her name was Christina Bechtold, but unfortunately, I think she had some things that changed in her circumstances, and she wasn't able to take the seat. So the seat was given to the alternate applicant, Miss Renee Holt. But unfortunately, Renee turned down the seat after she spoke to the governor's office. So we are back trying to fill that seat again today. And then we also have the 4 members that were not Senate confirmed: Miss Melinda Paradon, Missy Moore, Samantha Singletary, and Miss Mary Frances Avera. And then lastly, as you guys know, I sent out an email earlier this week that we had a resignation from Miss Nicole Banks, and she's a parent of a child with a disability. Miss Melinda Paradon, Miss Missy Moore, and Samantha Singletary are also parents. Actually, Miss Melinda Paradon was an immediate relative. And then Miss Mary Frances Avera was an individual with a developmental disability. And you can see those areas or those locations where they were from. Miss Rosalind was from the Southeast area. Miss Melinda Paradon was that South Central, like Lafayette region. Missy Moore was Northwest. Samantha Singletary and Miss Mary Frances Avera, South Central, and then Miss Nicole Banks was Southeast. So those are the positions or seats that we're going to be filling today. As you guys are thinking about applicants, I would just urge you guys to make sure that you consider the demographics and the location of where the applicants are from. So I did have a map that kind of makes it easy for you guys to see where we're losing members and where we actually have current members. So I'm going to share that as well. Can you guys see that? Or do I need to make it bigger?
Can you make it bigger?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the orange pins are where you have your current members. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit for just a second, Jill. Just
Okay.
because we have some people in Caddo Parish, you have one member and then you are losing a member there. And then most of our members, like I said, are in that South Central region. If you look at EBR, like a lot of pins are there, but you are losing some members there as well. And then I would say the Iberia area, St. Landry, Lafayette parishes, all of those are pretty much represented. If you go to Jefferson, we have 2 members there and we're losing a member. I think Nicole was the member that we were losing there. And then we have 1 in Calcasieu. So as you can see, like I said earlier, we don't have any members in the Northeast region, nor the central region of the state. So whenever you guys are looking at applicants, we need to make sure that we are considering those applicants that are from those regions. Does anybody have any questions?
Lauren?
Lauren, I'm not sure. Can you hear me, Lauren? It's a lot of static. We didn't catch anything you said. It's a lot of static on your end. We can hear you, but we can hear that you're saying something.
Distorted,
It's
yeah.
just very distorted. We have another hand raised, Jill, while Lauren is working through her technical issues. Ms. Brenda Kosei has her hand raised.
Okay, Miss Brenda, you're recognized by the chair.
Thank you. So did the council members who weren't Senate confirmed, is that how the imbalance was created?
Are you talking about as far as the regions go, Ms. Brenda?
Yes.
No. I mean, as you can see, so the red pins are the members that are being replaced. There are no red pins in Northeast Louisiana nor in Central Louisiana. So it's not that the members that were not Senate confirmed is causing an imbalance. It was already there. Does that answer your question?
Well, so we've had an imbalance since the last membership meeting?
Yes, ma'am. And the membership committee is at the mercy of who applies to the council. So they probably did their best to choose applicants that were spread across the state, but we may not have gotten any applicants from Northeast Louisiana or Central Louisiana. So they probably just did the best they could based off the applicants that applied last year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if you're able to speak now, Lauren. You can't speak.
May just have to call in on the phone and then we can pull the phone over and you have your video.
So while Lauren is working on her sound, I'll go ahead and share the applicants that we received. These are our self-advocate applicants, and we received we received 9 applications total for self-advocates. One of them, I was unable to get in contact with a family member or the applicant. So I had some follow-up questions that I needed to ask before an interview could be conducted, but I had a very difficult time getting in contact with either a family member or the applicant themselves. So they were not interviewed, and that's the person that's highlighted in yellow. So we had a total of 8 eligible applicants. And I hate to say that that person wasn't eligible. I just was not able to confirm his eligibility. So if you want to look at demographics for those 8 people, or really the 9, we have 7 white Caucasians and we have 2 African Americans. We have 8 males that applied and 1 female self-advocate that applied. So those are our self-advocates, and then we can go to our parents. We had a total of 13 parent applicants that applied. 2 were actually ineligible. Those 2 parents that applied, their children were old enough to advocate on their own. And so they were actually referred to Partners in Policymaking because they felt like there should be a step before their child applied for council membership. So I encouraged them to apply for Partners in Policymaking. So the demographics on the 11 parents that were left are 7 white Caucasian, 4 Black or African Americans. There were 3 males and 8 females. And the reason why I have this parent applicant's name highlighted is because he actually applied for both Partners in Policymaking and council membership. And after I called him and had a discussion with him, he decided that he didn't want his application to be considered at this time because he would rather be a part of the 2025 Partners in Policymaking class. And then lastly, we had 1 parent applicant that would meet the criteria to fill the institutional facility seat. And demographics for that parent is Asian, and she is a female.
I think we should, since that spot has been open since 2022, I think that should be the first recommendation we look at.
And I mean, if you're looking at her scores, she scored very high on her interview. She got a 7, and that's out of a total of 8. She could have, the highest score she could have gotten was an 8, and she got a 7. So it seems like she did really well on her interview. I don't know if there's any discussion from the person that interviewed her, or if you guys have any questions.
Who is
I
it?
interviewed her. Can y'all hear me now?
No.
Lauren, I think if you
Unmute your phone.
phone, then you could speak, and maybe it won't be so distorted.
Try to talk now, Lauren.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes, you'll just have
Okay.
to turn the volume down on your phone, otherwise
On my
it'll, or
computer. Okay.
either on your phone or your computer, otherwise we'll get an echo.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why it does this. I interviewed her and I think she's wonderful. She actually immigrated into the country. She has very good insight into the struggles of cultural barriers that face families of Asian families that have to deal with developmental disabilities. She was able to speak to how, the system was supposed to be working for her son and had been working until COVID. And then he was kind of through circumstance and lack of help at home, and she's a single mother, she had to institutionalize him, and he's definitely not getting the services that he should be getting in the institution. She had met Lacan leaders, and she hasn't done partners in policymaking. I did mention that to her, so I don't know if she'd prefer to do that, but she works for the state, and she really feels like this is like her calling and her mission now that she understands a lot more, that she would really like to participate. And I think we would be lucky to have her either this year or any other year. So she was one of my favorite candidates that I interviewed, and she's actually on the came to the meeting. I invited her, so she's here, and I really feel like she'll participate, which I think is very important, because another one of my people that I interviewed seems like he'd be really good, but when I kept giving him the date of when he could participate, it kind of felt like he came up with excuses of, oh, I'm busy that day, or I have other obligations. And that was kind of like a red flag there, of, if they were going to be able to follow through with the commitment. That's it.
Thank you, Lauren. So Jill, do you want the committee to consider making a motion now on this seat, or do you want to wait until after you all consider all the applicants?
Whatever's easy is for y'all. I don't know. Like, we can motion one at a time, so we'll have the names written down.
Okay, so do you want to wait and do that at the end, whenever you guys are making all the recommendations?
Okay.
Okay, all right, great. So I know that you all have to consider all of the applicants now, the ones that were interviewed. And I went back to the self-advocate page just to make one comment before you guys consider going into executive session. The person that is highlighted in yellow, that person, once again, I was not able to confirm eligibility. So he was not given an interview. And then the person in blue, Hunter Reno, he didn't complete an interview. I'm not sure why. I don't know if Angela or Brooke want to offer some, I don't know if he didn't return the call or if you guys just had a trouble getting in contact with him.
Hey, it's Angela. Well, I know Brooke, and I thought she was going to say something, but I know Brooke reached out to him a couple of times and she didn't get a response. So it may have been 3 times. I do know twice at least. And so that's why we didn't have an interview with that person.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that before we moved maybe into executive session for you guys to discuss all of the self-advocate applicants and the parent applicants. Jill, I don't know if you want to entertain a motion to go into executive session at this
Yes.
point.
Can I get someone to make a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, well then it's moved by Brooke, seconded by Lauren, so we will now go into executive session.
Okay, and just so the committee knows, I'm gonna email you guys the link for the executive session right now. I just emailed it, so you should receive it shortly. And for those that are attending, we will be back on this link as soon as they exit out of executive session.
And if I'm not mistaken, if you click on the current link, it will probably just have you in a holding pattern until we start up this link again. So that can help identify when they're back in session.